Today I'll be talking about the absolute train wreck, which is Rent-A-Girlfriend.
Thing going on here, except some cute character designs, that there's probably never going to be a worthwhile story.
It's definitely not a good series. It's very bad.
I completed it, and I was disappointed. I was not happy. I was not satisfied.
Because literally, nothing happens in this damn show. Nothing!
Rent-A-Girlfriend. It's one of the best anime about a guy renting a girlfriend, and is now better known as the punching bag for the anime commentary community. Look, I know a lot of people will make fun of me for defending this degenerate dumpster fire because, as I said a second ago, it's now a trend to hate on this anime. In saying that, for some reason, I'm not the only one who seems to like it, and there has to be a reason on why it's popular, right? It also still has a pretty big fan base surrounding it. I've seen loads of fan art, as well as people being pretty active in the Crunchyroll comments on new episodes, even though everyone spams all my homies hate mommy, which is understandable. And looking on the My Anime List score, it's an above average 7.19 out of 10, which is pretty good. Also, coincidentally, the same score as Sword Art Online, a popular anime known for being overrated, which objectively gets worse after the first couple of episodes.
Bitch of B3M and I'm hella sad. Laying on my phone, feeling so alone.
Alright, fine. If other people don't like it, you can hear what I have to say, and why, in my opinion, it's great. And maybe why it doesn't deserve all the unnecessary hate it's been getting. Now, you may be wondering, if this is known as one of the most hated anime, how could I defend it? But if I'm going to be honest, even though through all the times I felt it was bad, I couldn't pull myself away from it and kept watching through all the cringe, bad writing, and plot holes. I was genuinely enjoying it. That one scene on the ferry was so cool and got me so hyped, I unironically shouted in my room, "This is the greatest anime of all time." And yeah, the main character is annoying, but he's realistic and isn't some amazingly charismatic man who can swoon any woman with his words. So it makes the show a little more grounded and more reasonable of an interaction for two average people to have. All in all, it's an anime made to be enjoyed and not taken too seriously. And when it does, it can do a pretty good job of getting me invested. There is literally a whole episode of a cute shy girl doing cute things, so obviously it doesn't always need to focus on plot progression. And when people compare Rent-A-Girlfriend to an anime like Snafu or Love is War and expect a certain level of complexity to the romance aspect, they might often feel disappointed. But instead, with Rent-A-Girlfriend, I'd say it's more comparable to a stupid rom-com you boot up with your friends to laugh at, and with some pretty enjoyable feel-good moments. But wow, this show has its flaws. First off, the main character, even in his realism, is really frustrating to watch at times, because he keeps making bad decisions for the sake of the plot. Eventually, you start to feel like he shouldn't get with any of the girls in the show to begin with. He would also be better off single for everybody's benefit, including himself. In addition to that, the manga right now is in a really bad place and hasn't progressed in what feels like the last 100 chapters, and will probably go on longer than One Piece at this point. Also, the weird scenes of Kazuya doing some questionable stuff did definitely bother me, as well as the fan service did get quite excessive and unnecessary. And personally, fan service is genuinely more enjoyable when it's used correctly, not purely to get that quote-unquote pants grab from the viewer. So why do I keep coming back? Even though we see the flaws pretty clearly, why? What does this show offer you? I feel like I've noticed this anime is a Rent-A-Girlfriend itself. We come back just as much as Kazuya does with Chizuru, cause maybe we're lonely, or just got broken up with. We need ways to temporarily fill this void of loneliness. In the same vein, we want ways to escape from reality. Let's be real, as much as we make fun of Sword Art Online for being bad, it's in the same boat, and why it's so popular. The first few episodes are about being a cool hero who beats the villain, gets with the finest maiden in the land, and lives the rest of his life in bliss with his lover. It's a fantasy. Why do you think they made 50 different variations of Lord of the Rings and 100 isekai anime in the last decade? It's an escape, and something better than our dead-end 9-to-5 jobs or boring school life. So as the world keeps getting worse and things around us are getting more confusing or complicated, An escape is what people usually look toward. Even though it's fine in the temporary, we shouldn't hold on to these escapes, and eventually we need to look outward, towards the real world. So in conclusion, why was the show liked not so long ago, and why is it being so hated right now? The anime hasn't really changed, and I think it's getting better with some of the more recent episodes. And on first watch, I really enjoyed it, and to top it all off, I ended up rewatching the first and currently airing seasons. And it wasn't the same as when I watched it the first time 2 years ago. So, in doing some research for this video, I read an article on how this was one of the top selling manga in China for a while. Plus, it was honestly really well received in the anime scene. And when you looked up when these instances occurred, it was at the height of the COVID lockdown restrictions, a time where people were in need of escapes and needed means to socialize with growing voids of loneliness. Along with there being no end in sight of it all. It almost seems too obvious why Rent-A-Girlfriend and many other escapes got so popular. So, regardless of all the unnecessary hate the show has gotten recently, we can look back to a time when the show was praised and enjoyed, and maybe for a moment, we didn't feel as lonely while watching it.
It's just bad.
Ruka.
Oh my
I know I'm not
gosh.
mature like Chizuru.